Family, what's good? What's good? Man, I finished my live yesterday and I didn't get to talk about what I was wanting to talk about, what I was hearing about Pete Carroll. So I'm going to start now. What I'm hearing is there is a very small chance that Pete Carroll could be back with the Las Vegas Raiders without Geno Smith. There are some people in the building, mainly Mark Davis, from what I'm hearing, a little birdie in my ear, that believe that with a different quarterback, with this offensive line changing up the way Ashton Jeanty been playing, Brock Bowers not getting the receptions that he needs, that there is a chance that there are some people in the building that think Pete Carroll does have an opportunity to be back. A lot of the nation doesn't want it. I understand. I think it's time to move on. But there is that possibility, and there are some people saying that, there are people in the building that believe that Pete Carroll with another year could turn this around. I think they're, crazy, but there are that side of it. Rosetown, appreciate you. What's good, my guy? How's your holidays going? Merry Christmas to you and your family. Happy holidays. But yeah, so I ended last night. I didn't get to say it, but that's what I'm hearing. There is a very, very small chance that Pete Carroll returns. But the bigger picture is I don't think there's a chance, man. I don't think there's a chance. I know y'all seen the title, so we'll get into that right away. People are gonna look at me like I'm high, right? Ashton Jeanty doing Barry Sanders shit. We will get into that. Does Ashton Jeanty have a chance to be Rookie of the Year? We will get into that. Before I leave, I will make sure I do not forget today. My guy Rosetown says, "Man, we win the last two games. Pete Carroll and Geno will be back. If the offense don't step up and sit down the starters the last two games, I feel like the route. That's the route, bro. I feel like it too. Hopefully, I'm wrong. We need that first pick. Merry Christmas. What's good, Devin? Appreciate you. Happy holidays to everyone. But yeah, man, I feel like I don't know. I don't know how you could justify, right? If you're the Raiders brass, if you're the Raiders suits, how you could justify Pete Carroll beating the Giants in a Kansas City team that's not even going to play without Patrick Mahomes, without Gardner Minshew on their third string quarterback. How could you take credit for that? How could that do anything in the building to say, yeah, this staff deserves another chance? I don't see it, man. I don't see it. I feel like, the mistakes they've made, as horrible as the offensive line has been, with his son being the offensive line coach, as horrible as the run game has been with his sons being the run game coordinator, as bad as the passing's been with his quarterback being Geno Smith, as bad as the passing game coordinator has been with his son being Nate Carroll, with the two firings. Pete Carroll, I think, said it all when he fired Tom McMahon. I think Pete Carroll said it, even louder when he fired Chip Kelly. He's never fired anybody in his career during the season. Um, Kind of like Sean McVay, who fired somebody this year, but that it's never happened in a Pete Carroll's tenure anywhere. He never fires anybody. He lets his coaches play it out, and I think he hit the panic button. And has it worked out for us? Yes, a little bit. But has the offense really been better? I mean, Ashton Jeanty had one good game. He had one good game against Chip Kelly, right? In New England, and in Chicago. So I don't think there's been much of a difference to the offense. It does look like, they're starting to pick it up late in the season. The interior offensive line has been pretty solid the last couple of weeks. So I think that's a plus. But I don't think you can put that on Brendan Carroll. I believe that somebody in the building like Joe Philbin, and Greg Olsen, right, are taking control of that offensive line, are taking control of the play calling, and they're changing stuff up, a little bit here and there. I think the addition of Caleb Rogers, doesn't look good for Pete Carroll. I think the way Kai Blue Kelly was playing and not taking him out, and then Darian Porter comes in and he's pretty locked down. I mean, yeah, he got some flags, but I've seen some plays where he set the edge on a 3rd and 1. He didn't make the tackle, but he did set the edge and allowed his guys to get there. So I believe there's, Pete Carroll winning these last two games it's just going to hurt this fan base. It's just going to hurt the players, which Max Crosby, will get to that, doesn't care about that number one pick. I find just crazy. But it's going to hurt this franchise, man. If you win games right now, it doesn't look good for the brass. It doesn't look good for Pete Carroll. It doesn't look good for Geno Smith. It's going to look worse, in my opinion, for Geno Smith, right? If you come out and you play your best football game against one of the worst defenses in the NFL, the Giants have the worst run defense in the NFL. If Geno Smith comes out and plays his best football in a game that we need to lose, how do you bring him back? How do you justify bringing him back? This fan base will riot in the streets. I guarantee you, LA will be, like it was during the Rodney King shit. Like it'll be wild, bro. So you can't. Shout out. I'll get to the chats in a minute, but you can't. Yeah, there's no way to justify keeping Pete Carroll around, and there's really no way to justify other than the money to keep Geno Smith in. Speaking of Geno Smith, man, go check out my short that I made. If you don't follow me on X, go follow me on X. Always dropping, knowledge. Try to keep everybody, as a content creator. Not everybody has, the knowledge or, the people in their ear, the little birdie in their ear, right? So I try to inform everybody the best I can, and I do it a lot more on X probably than I do on YouTube. So go follow me over there, RaidersRebel_. But I posted Geno Smith in his press conference today said he is in the building at 7 o'clock. Key, remember this, 7 o'clock, right? Geno Smith is in the building at 7 o'clock, working with the receivers and the rookies. He has them go up on the board and write plays up there, and game plays to figure out the situations, right? Which is absolutely hilarious because 3 weeks ago, Kenny Pickett said he's there at 6 o'clock in the morning. 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Kenny Pickett shows up at 6 o'clock to work with Jack Besh and the rookies and have them draw plays up on the board. And now all of a sudden, Geno Smith says, I'm here at 7 o'clock and I'm working with the rookies every morning. Bro, this dude is the most phoniest man I've ever seen in my life. And it's a disgrace to Raider Nation to have him wear the silver and black, to have him wear the number 7, to have him wear the helmet. It's just pathetic that this dude is still out there when, for what? For what? We need to see what Aiden O'Connell has. We need to see what Cam Miller has. We need to know if we need to draft a quarterback, which we do. We do for the future, right? He's probably not going to play next year. But the Raiders, how do you have Geno Smith still out there when he's flipped off this fan base? Not once, but twice. He's called people punk ass bitches walking off the field. And you still continue to put this man on the field when the Raiders aren't trying to win games right now. Everybody in this fan base, if you're not in the building, doesn't want to win, right? The number one pick is the most valuable thing we could get right now, besides a playoff, berth in the Super Bowl, which neither one of those are happening. So right now we have to focus on the only positive we have, and that is the number 1 or number 2 pick. We can't afford to win games. And I hate saying that as a Raider fan. It hurts my chest. It gives me anxiety. It brings me pain to say we have to fucking lose to have something to feel good about. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. But that's where we are as a fan base. That's where we are as a franchise. And I'll move on from that. Max Crosby was asked today, right? Max Crosby, we'll get to this point. Max Crosby was asked, how do you feel about the number 1 pick, and do you ever think about that? He said, I'm not playing for the number 1 pick. I'm playing to win, to be the greatest of all time, and that's his goal, right? He doesn't care about the stats. He doesn't care about the money. But if you don't care about the stats, doesn't it take the stats to make you the greatest of all time? Doesn't it take players around you to make you the greatest of all time? Because I don't remember any player like Lawrence Taylor not having a great defense around him. I don't remember Reggie White not having a Charles Woodson and the guys that he had around him, right? I don't remember Michael Jordan not having a Scottie Pippen or a Horace Grant or a B.J. Armstrong. I don't remember any of these great players not having great players around you. So how can you sit up here as the face of the nation and say you're not worried about the first round pick? You're worried about winning games that are meaningless. What do these games, winning these games, mean for anybody besides the players in the building? It boosts your ego. It makes you feel better. Like, come on, man. There is no reason why we should be winning games right now. We should be thinking about the future. We should be thinking about the franchise. And Max Crosby should be worried about that number one pick. He should be worried about getting players around him that can help him win games, because right now the players in the building are not doing that. He's getting double teamed. He's getting triple teamed. You want that to stop? Have the first overall pick. Trade back. Go get Arvell Reese, right? I guarantee you it makes you better. Look at what the Cleveland Browns did, right? They went and got Mason Graham. What, second, third, fourth, whatever they picked Mason Graham, I thought it was way too high. I had him at the bottom, bottom of the first round, probably very top of the second round, right? I don't know if I would have taken Mason Graham where they took him. But my point is, look what Mason Graham, not having a sack this season as a rookie, has done for Myles Garrett, one of the greatest defensive end probably in the history of the NFL. Myles Garrett. It has made his game 10 times better just having that presence of Mason Graham in the middle. No, he don't get to the quarterback. No, he don't have tackles for loss. And no, he doesn't have a sack on the season. But guess what? Myles Garrett is about to break the all-time season record. That is because they had a top pick in the draft. So for Max Crosby to not be worried about that shit, it just irritates me, as you can see. Shout out to the 24 people in the building rocking with your boy. I got to go way back here to get to all this damn shit I missed. The Battle of Ass. Raiders against the Giants this Sunday. Yes, the Battle of Ass. Some of you might like ass. Some of you might not like ass. We don't know. But I hope we lose so we get the number one pick. I feel you. I feel you, my guy. The Bears. Bear down, bro. Your ass is bear down. Shout out to everybody in the building. Merry Christmas. Shout out for the $4.99. Holla! Geno Smith is trash. You should have gotten Darnold. I mean, yeah, we should have done a lot of things, right? Like not win 2 games last year for no reason, like we're fixing to try to do this year, right? We should have started Aiden O'Connell last year instead of garbage Minshew. The Raiders should have done a lot, but getting Sam Darnold probably would have been one of those options, right? But Tom Brady, the GOAT in the NFL, he didn't want Sam Darnold. He wanted Geno Smith. Well, actually, he wanted Matthew Stafford, but he didn't want to pay a first and a second round for, which I would have easily gave up a first and a second round for Matthew Stafford to not be in this situation, to have to want to lose games for my team, right? It's absolutely stupid. So, Sam Darnold would have been great, right? But would he been great under Chip Kelly? Would he have been great under this offensive line? I don't know. I don't feel like that's the case at all whatsoever. You look like Dave. Shut up, bro. He's got a bigger beard. He's like 6'5" or some shit, isn't he? I'm like 5'10", bro, with my boots on. I wish I had his money, though. But shout out for the compliment. Is this a video that you made, Rebel? Not a short. Oh, it's a video. Well, video, short, you know what I do. Just want to see the young Giant players develop. But besides that, I want the Giants to lose. See, now everybody's in the right. Everybody wants their team to lose. Everybody's in the mix. Or I want my team to lose. I want my team to lose. But the Raiders and the franchise of the damn, the face of the franchise, Max Crosby, is not worried about a number one pick. What are you worried about then? What are you going out and playing for? The love of the game? The love of the game should be playing to make this team better and thinking about the future. And you should not be out there 100% of the snaps if you're not worried about your stats, right? You say you're not worried about stats. Why are you out there 100% of the game? Injured. It doesn't make sense. So the Raiders need to do something. It's pathetic that Geno Smith is even out there. Stop ignoring me. Ignoring what? What am I ignoring? The Bears. I said the Bears, bro. He said he would get to the chat in a minute. He's not ignoring you. Got you. Oh, my God. This chat is deep, bro. Shout out to everybody in the building. Raiders plane just went down. Don't say that, bro. That's not funny because the Raiders are already at home. And they play at home this week, bro. So, shout out for the not funny joke. But you shouldn't even say that, bro. If you want to turn this around like we need to, we need to have that first overall pick so we can attract a head coach, etc. I hear a lot of talk about, like you said, right, that first overall pick is going to attract a head coach. But I think what really is going to attract a head coach is Tom Brady figuring out if he wants to be part of Raider Nation or if he wants to be part of Fox Sports. Because if he wants to be part of Fox Sports, he could stay over there and, give his 2 cents to Mark Davis, but he doesn't need to be in the building. He doesn't need to be calling people on the phone. He doesn't need to have his people and, spying on everything and be in control of the next quarterback. If you're not going to go out there and coach that quarterback, if you're not going to develop that quarterback, why should you have a say in a quarterback if you're not going to develop him the way he needs to be developed? So the first overall pick, I believe, it's like I said, it's valuable. It's valuable in the position we are in right now, needing another corner, needing a number one safety that can cover sideline to sideline, that can come up in the box and make the hits, right? That could force the turnovers like a Caleb, like a Caleb Downs, right? We need a linebacker like a Arvell Reese that could play, anywhere on the field pretty much if he wanted to, but he could play defensive end, right? He could play that outside linebacker. Hell, he could play, he could play the Mike, I'm sure, if he wanted to. But that pick is valuable. That pick is very, very valuable. And for this organization and the players to be worried about winning for Pete Carroll, like if you were worried about winning, why didn't you give the effort you're giving at the beginning of the year? Because I haven't seen Max Crosby chase anybody from behind all year long like he did on that play where he came to a complete stop and then decided, oh shit, nobody's going to tackle this guy. So, where's that effort all year long? We wouldn't be in this position, right? And I just don't feel like there's enough focus on trying to make this franchise better for the future. Even if we have the number one pick, like you need to be on the phone right now talking to people. What is your opinion of Fernando, Mendoza? If you were the coach of the Las Vegas Raiders, would you go get Fernando Mendoza, or would it be Arvell Reese to try to rebuild this defense? Put somebody next to Max Crosby or behind Max Crosby, or would you go? I believe Tonka Hemingway could be better than Mason Graham. I'm gonna say that now. I'm just gonna say that. I'm gonna put that out there. I believe Tonka Hemingway, if he gets his snaps and he gets the coaching that he needs and gets the play time, the development, which I think he's getting under Patrick Graham. But I believe Tonka Hemingway could be that dog, man, to be in the middle, to be that Christian Wilkins that we lost at the beginning of the season. The dude is absolutely outstanding. But we need to focus on who this coach is going to be, what their idea of the future is, what players we need, right? But if you have the number one pick and you're not looking at a quarterback because you want to see what Cam Miller, has, or because Tom Brady wants to see what Cam Miller has, or maybe you want to see what Aiden O'Connell has after, going into his fourth year, showing signs in his first year, right? Maybe they want to go that way. There's a lot more quarterbacks in the draft next year than the one first round quarterback that everybody is fighting for like sharks in the water right now. So if you have that first overall pick, man, you could get what? Two first rounds possibly this year and a first round next year. You could get a first round this year, a first round next year, and a top second pick and a third pick. The amount is endless, right? If you trade back just to the fourth spot, say you trade back and you get 2 first round picks this year, one and one next year. That gives you 2 this year. You get a second and possibly a third. And then you trade back again into the top 10. Because I guarantee you in this draft, the first 10 players, 15 players, depending on what skill set you need. If you need a tackle, there's a couple, probably 3 that I would, definitely take. But if you need a safety, there's a couple in the first round, maybe 2. If you need a linebacker, there might only be 1, maybe 2 or 3, depending on what position they put them at, or, how they do in the combine. If you need a defensive tackle, there's a couple of those, right? So I believe you can get guys for the future and get picks for the future. So next year, when you have a new coach or you have a Pete Carroll and a Geno Smith, because let's not stop weighing that option yet, right? It's 50-50 right now, whatever happens to the end of the season. But when you have a new coach, if you have to start all over, at least you can build around knowing that, okay, next year we're going to get our quarterback, right? This is what our plan is for this year. If this man turns out to be what we thought he was, then then we don't have to waste a first round pick next year, right? We could possibly rock with this goof dude for another 2 3 years. That's great. You continue to build the franchise. Um, Guy knows what he's doing. I like Spy Tech, man. I really do. Jesus loves you. Jesus loves you too. Yeah, we had Geno Smith last year on the Seahawks. So, how'd you feel about Geno Smith on the Seahawks last year? I'm a Chiefs fan. I feel bad for you. See, that's. I mean, thank you for for having mercy on a dead in the water team every year. But man, that hurts, bro. Come on, a Chiefs fan coming on here and saying they feel bad for us, bro. I appreciate you, R6 Elite, but that's rough, man. That's rough. That's hard to swallow. Um, you should have kept John Gruden. I mean, we couldn't kept John Gruden. You know, Tom Brady leaked those emails. I didn't say that, bro. I didn't say that. It's a joke, man. It's a joke. Or is it? You don't know. Tom Brady was supposed to come be the quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders when they moved to Vegas in 2020. And John Gruden vetoed it and said, I don't want Tom Brady. I want Derek Carr. At least that's the story. And then, all of a sudden, some emails are leaked. Tom Brady's minority owner. Just saying. Just saying. Y'all got no sense of humor. The Raiders will be successful. What? The Raiders will not be successful till they go away. That's come on. That's nonsense, bro. Stop with that. Stop with that. When was the last time we even had a black quarterback besides Geno? Come on. That's stupid. That's nonsense. And you should be booted from my chat. I don't know where my mods are, but you could snipe people like that. That's just nonsense, bro. Nonsense. Shane Butler in the building. Eagles going to beat the Seahawks in the playoffs. That's crazy talk, bro. That's crazy. Do you know Lord of the Rings? I know the movie. I don't know anybody that was in the movie. Dude, maybe next season. Bro, I'm tired of hearing that. 100 $100. Yeah, shit. My cash app's in the link. Unc, you smoke land weed? Oh, you know that. You know that. Patriots fan here. We can beat anyone but not the Raiders. I mean, that's you have 3 losses for one, so there's two other teams besides the Raiders that you can't beat. And it was the first game of the season. You know, our defensive coordinator, Patrick Graham, knows Josh McDaniels, right? Knows that offense. He practiced against it every single day for a year and a half, right? So we had one up on him, right? I think we had one up on you. We definitely didn't outplay you. I look like Brady Fiegel. Why do I look like everybody but Raiders Rebel? Jim Rogers, that's me. I don't know who I look like, but Greg Brewer, what's good? What's good? Tucker rule, baby. Come on, man. Why you gotta, man? You see the energy that's been in here? You see how I've been talking through this, right? I got 34 people in here. Shout out to the 34 people in the building. And then we got to have people come in and bring up the tuck rule. Why? Why? Why do we have to be like that? Why do we have to be like that as people of society? Why do we have to bring people down, man? I don't get it. I don't get it. Adam Vinatieri field goal in the snow. Come on, bro. Come on. It's not even funny. It's not even funny. Raiders make the playoffs. What? Raiders make the playoffs, please, so we can hard reset our franchise. Why would we want to make the playoffs and then hard reset? we're trying to build upon something here. And that since you brought that up, a lot of people say the Raiders just need to rebuild. And I brought this up last night on my live. Where do we need to rebuild? Because right now, the Raiders are sitting at I think one of the fifth youngest team in the NFL. We were like second or third last year until we brought in guys like Landon Roberts, you know, guys like who else did we bring in? Landon Roberts, Devin White. Jamal Adams, right? We bring in guys that are in their, 27, 28 years old, kind of added a little age to this team. But most of this team is young players that were drafted from this, drafted to this team. A lot of our practice squad, our UDFAs, are draftees, not draftees, a couple of them, past draftees. So I think the Raiders are closer than we think, man. And I really do believe this game, and I don't think it was Pete Carroll coaching the defense. I think it was Patrick Graham got unleashed. No pun intended. Raiders Unleashed. Shout out, subscribe, double tap the screen. Double tap the screen, man. I got 12 people. 12 likes in here. None of y'all like what I'm saying? None of y'all picking up what I'm putting down? That's crazy, bro. I've had over 100 people in here and I got 12 likes. Help me out. Help me out. The Raiders Patriots. I need to stop saying That's crazy. Raiders need to win. Priority losing. Yes, I agree. Yes, it sucks. Oakland A. Smith. Shout out to everybody in the building. Oakland Raiders will never ever be Las Vegas because Oakland is who they are. They need to move back to California because Nevada isn't working. I don't know, Shane. I don't know. I mean, yes and no. Yes and no. We got a free stadium out of it. The players have the best facilities on the planet. Do you really want these players to go back and suffer in Oakland with shitty facilities, a stadium that smells like piss and and weed sometimes? Dude, is that really what you want for these players, man? Because I don't think it helped. I mean, yes, we were tougher then, we were more gritty then, but come on, these players deserve better, right? They deserve better. They deserve the stadium they're in. They're not moving. It was a free stadium. The casinos are paying for it. I mean, why is everybody bitching? I know we left Oakland, but Oakland didn't want the Raiders, bro. They didn't want us. They didn't want us. They didn't want you. They didn't want you. They didn't want your fan base. They didn't want your silver and black. They didn't want none of it. They didn't want none of it. They were done. They don't want the A's. They don't want anybody. Bring back Luke Getsy and Jimmy G. Oh my God, what are we doing in here? What are we doing in here? What does Tom Brady know about being a minority? I don't know, bro. That's funny shit, though. I don't know. Jimmy G may be the best backup of all time. I disagree, bro. I disagree. Do I like eggs? Brown eggs or white eggs? Yeah, I like eggs, man. Yeah, I like eggs. When was the last time Raiders won a Super Bowl? 1983, or I guess 84. But it was the 83 season. Geo Mex in the building. Raiders. I had to do that one time. Bro, you capping. I don't cap, bro. I don't cap. Are the Raiders still in the playoffs? Yes, we are the first seed. Would you ever let a hardcore fan give you, man? Where are my mods at, bro? Why we always gotta come on here with the gay shit, bro? I don't understand it. I don't understand it, bro. $20. What? Some clown shit. Oh, now we deleting shit. Now y'all getting on it. Thank you. Where did you get that giant logo and the chain? Want to cop one for the Eagles? I love it. This one I got. I think at Raiders Image, or shit, I don't know. Maybe in the airport. And then that one, the black one, I got at the same place I got the first one. So I don't know what to tell you. But you can get them anywhere, man. Just go to any Raider store. They got them. They got them everywhere. They're trash. Go Broncos. Come on, man. Let's talk about the Broncos. We got a Broncos fan in here. Do y'all think y'all gonna win your division, or do you think the Chargers could come up, sneak up in there? That loss was horrible, bro. Do you really want to make the playoffs and lose in the first round? I would love nothing more than the Broncos to make to just win, lose 3 games all season, and then and then be out in the first round. I would love it. That would make my day more than having the number one pick, I think, really, to be honest. I'm gonna be honest with you, the Raiders are okay, but Eagles are better. Well, I mean, the Eagles did win 31 to nothing, bro. 31 to nothing. So yeah, I mean, they showed they were better. Were they really better? Or did we just get out coached? I'm gonna go with the latter. I'm gonna go with the latter. I'm not gonna climb it, but I'm gonna go with the latter. Jerry Jones gets a percentage of everything you guys do. Look it up in the parking concessions. What? What are you talking about? You talking about Willis? What you talking about, Willis? Hey, Raiders Unleashed. Do you live in what? Do you live in a commentary on the games? Yeah, I go live every Sunday. Every Sunday. I'll be live this week. I'll be live the following week. And every Sunday from here on out, Thursday if they play on Thursday, Monday if they play on Monday. Yeah, we go live for all the games. Make sure you pull up. Oh, this one on the wall? Where did I get that at? I think I got that in Vegas also. I do believe. Anyway, spread the message. Merry Christmas. Y'all take care. Appreciate you, man. Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to you. Who's your favorite football team? All right. Oh man, I made it to the bottom. I can read this one. I think you do really good. Millen and the Patriots today. Game day stream format. The short form reaction content is good though. Appreciate it, my guy. Appreciate it. I'll check that out. Jerry Jones tried to get the NFL games on the pay-per-view. This man is all about money. The NFL is all about money, bro. The NFL is all about money. Read what you said. Yeah, girl. What'd you say? No hate, but I don't. What? You don't play about my team? Why, you made me come back and read some shit that don't even make sense, yo. Come on. Come on. How you gonna make me go back and read some shit that don't make no sense? It don't even make sense. Don't even make sense. All right. The next topic, man. The next topic of the day. Should Ashton Jeanty be in the running for Rookie of the Year? Double tap the screen. Please give some likes up. Let people know, YouTube know that you're rocking with this content. You picking up what I'm putting down. But let's just break this down, right? Let's just break this down. Why is Ashton Jeanty, why does the title say Ashton Jeanty's doing Barry Sanders shit? For one, he has one of the worst offensive lines in all of the NFL this season, and he still managed to scrape yard after yard after yard and accumulate, little yards, have some decent plays here and there. His vision hasn't been great. But if you look at the elite traits, his contact balance, his low center of gravity, his catching the ball out of the backfield, the explosiveness that you could say he's not the fastest running back, but he has explosiveness. He showed it twice last week. He showed it a couple times this week. So Ashton Jeanty needs to be in the running for Rookie of the Year. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you right now. Ashton Jeanty currently sits at 828 rushing yards. Bijan Robinson, his rookie year, right? Bijan killing it in the NFL on a bad Falcons team. Bijan Robinson had 976 yards. Jeanty has two more games. Some could say one of the greatest backs in the NFL right now, Jahmyr Gibbs for the Lions, right? Drafted 12th overall in the NFL. He finished his rookie season under a pretty solid offensive line. Not the greatest when he was drafted, but they were already established, right? They were established. 945 yards rushing. Attempts-wise, Jahmyr Gibbs had 945 yards rushing on 182 attempts. That is impressive as hell and absolutely unheard of in the NFL. Bijan Robinson had 214 carries with 976 yards. Ashton Jeanty sits at 224 carries for a rookie with 800, like I said, 828 yards with 2 games left to go. 2 games left to go. All these stats are finished for Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs. Rushing touchdowns. Jahmyr Gibbs had 10. Absolutely crazy, right? Crazy. And I'll get to Barry Sanders in a minute. So Jahmyr Gibbs had 10 rushing touchdowns on 182 carries. On 214 carries, Bijan Robinson had 4 touchdowns his rookie year. Ashton Jeanty on 224 carries has five rushing touchdowns with 2 games left. Going against the worst rushing defense in all of the NFL, the New York Giants, who are trying to tank for first place. That's going to boost Ashton Jeanty. I look for him to have a big game. I wouldn't I wouldn't put it past taking him for 2 touchdowns again this week. I mean, it really, really could happen. It looks like it's starting to click. That offensive line is looking nasty. So, yards per carry. Jahmyr Gibbs averaged 5.2. Like I said, he had an established offensive line that, was putting it all together. Nobody cares. Dude, why are you in here, bro? Bijan Robinson, 4.6 yards per carry on the average. Ashton Jeanty is only averaging 3.7. Not a great number. He has all the accolades that I mentioned. My problem with Ashton Jeanty is his vision. His vision and his decision making. If he gets more decisive with his decision making, this kid is going to be a star, bro. He's going to break and destroy records in the NFL if he stays healthy. Receptions wise, let's talk about this. Reception wise, Jahmyr Gibbs had 52 receptions for 316 yards. Bijan Robinson had 58 receptions for 487 yards. Ashton Jeanty has 50 receptions for 326 yards with 2 games left. And my question to you, let me know in the comments. Thumbs up, thumbs down. If Ashton Jeanty had a better quarterback and a better offensive line, do you feel like he could have broke Barry Sanders, or possibly who's the leader? I'm trying to think. Saquon Barkley? I think Saquon. I'll get to their stats in a second. Shout out to the $5 holla. Total touchdowns, right? Total touchdowns. Remember, Jahmyr Gibbs had 10 rushing touchdowns. He only had 1 receiving touchdown his rookie year for a total of 11 touchdowns. Bijan Robinson had 4 touchdowns out of the backfield receiving for a total of 8 touchdowns, right? He was drafted 7th overall, I do believe. Ashton Jeanty drafted 6th overall. I do believe Bijan Robinson was drafted to a better prepared offensive line and offense to what Ashton Jeanty's been thrown into, bro, by a long shot, right? Ashton Jeanty has a total of 5 receiving touchdowns to bring his total to 10. That's 1 less than Jahmyr Gibbs. Total yards from scrimmage. Jahmyr Gibbs had 1,261. Bijan Robinson had 1,463 yards from scrimmage his rookie year. Ashton Jeanty has 1,124 with still 2 games left. So, my question is to you. Let me know in the chats. There was 23 people in here rocking with me. I appreciate y'all. But let me know. It'll only take you 2 seconds. Double tap the screen. Come on, man. Show some love. We're still only 17 likes. I've had over 200 people in here. Double tap the screen and let me know in the comments, the 19 people that stayed. Do you think Ashton Jeanty should be in the Rookie of the Year talks right now? Or do you feel like, he needs another game or two to boost those numbers, to put him in the talks? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know. All right, now I gotta get to the other one. No, not the elite. Damn it. All right, let me get to these replies real quick. I'm a Go Packers fan. Who is the better coach in your perspective, Vince Lombardi or John Madden? I'm. I mean, that's hard to say, bro. That's hard to say. That's really hard to say. I mean, Madden in his time was definitely the best, greatest of all time, and Lombardi in his time. So, I mean, I don't know. I can't choose. I think Lombardi has more. Does he have more Super Bowls than Madden? Call Jerry Jones. He did. People get the Raiders. Nothing to get off that shit. What? What? What are you talking about? Who is this dude? Why are you on Jerry Jones's nuts, bro? Jerry does not own the Raiders. Are you sure he doesn't? They suck too. Oh, that's what you're getting at? Am I religious? I don't know why. I have Jesus tatted on my wrist. I don't go to church. I believe in a God. I'm religious. I think he needs to keep working at it. I think he needs to keep working at it too. I mean, you got 2 more games left. But let's break down this. Barry Sanders rookie year stats. Do they even have stats back that far? So, here we go now. Here we go now. All right, so y'all remember, right? Ashton Jeanty had 1,120. Well, how many was it? Somebody remember in the chat? Somebody? All right, anyway. So Ashton Jeanty has 10 touchdowns with 2 games left, right? Barry Sanders, let's get to this. Barry Sanders in 1989 as a rookie for the Detroit Lions rushed for 1,470 yards. With 14 rushing touchdowns. That's a rookie, bro. That's a rookie. That's Barry Sanders type shit right there. He played in only 15 games, not 17. So that's why I'm bringing this up now, because Ashton Jeanty is right at 15, right? But he has 2 more to go. And you can't fault the man for the NFL changing and adapting and adding more games to his shit, right? Carries. He had 280. There's a difference. Ashton Jeanty has 224. This man had 60 more carries than Ashton Jeanty. But he averaged 5.25, 5.25 yards per carry as a rookie, bro. And he did special shit. He also, on top of that, recorded 44 catches out of the backfield for only 283 yards. Nothing special. He was better in the backfield. He was great in the open field, but he was a lot better. I'm not bueno. What's good? So if you look at it, man, Ashton Jeanty is only at 800 yards rushing, right? 824. If he has 2 more big games, which a lot of us don't want him to have, but I want him to have, as long as we can lose. You could have 500 yards rushing. I don't care. But Barry Sanders totaled 1,470 yards rushing with 283 yards passing. That is 1,753 yards. That's crazy, bro. 1,753. So no, Ashton Jeanty is not going to get to that. But if you look at, like we just did, Jahmyr Gibbs, if you look at Bijan Robinson, and shit, I'll even compare him to Saquon here in a minute. What's Saquon's? Let's look at Saquon. Saquon Barkley. Yeah, he ain't getting nowhere near that. So Saquon Barkley, let's check it out. 2018, won the AP Offensive Rookie of the Year, racking up 2,000 total yards, 1,300 rushing, 721 receiving with 15 total touchdowns, 11 rushing, 4 receiving in 16 games, making the Pro Bowl. So, Ashton Jeanty, right? Saquon ran for 1307. Ashton Jeanty is at 824. I do believe that was right, 824. But 2 more games left. If he could run for, over 100 yards, say he goes 120 plus back-to-back games, that's 240. That puts him at, close to 1,100 yards. If he picks up another 60 yards receiving, that puts him at over 400 yards receiving. That would put him at 1,500 total yards. Yes, that's 500 less than Saquon Barkley, but it's only 300 less than Barry Sanders in his rookie year with the Detroit Lions. So, Ashton Jeanty, in my opinion, if you want my honest opinion, should be in the talks for Rookie of the Year. And I think he should definitely, be featured a lot more by the Raiders after this game. I think, he needs another 24 touches. I believe he needs another, 10 out of the backfield. If I'm the Raiders, I'm feeding the beast, bro, because what he showed last week against one of the number one defenses in the NFL, to flip it around and go up against the worst defense in the NFL when it comes to rushing, you have to feature Ashton Jeanty more. Bueno in the building, what it do? Dickerson, 1,800 yards in his rookie season. Yikes. Yeah, but that was total, right? That was rushing and receiving, or was it just rushing? Meanwhile, I was another Raider podcaster, and they are just trashing Jeanty. Meanwhile, you was on another. They're trashing Jeanty? For what? For what? Look, I've talked shit on Ashton Jeanty too. And if you're talking about 805 Raider, and Raider Nation, real talk Raider Nation, him and Severe, they do the film breakdowns, and they're right, bro. Ashton Jeanty has a vision problem, but he does not have a problem with contact balance. He does not have a problem with running with low center of gravity. He does have that, that burst at the end. So I don't know how you can bash him, except for the fact that if you really look at this season and you look at Ashton Jeanty and you go back and you watch the All 22 film, or you go back and just watch my All 22 film, the vision has been a problem. And I can't help to think that if Ashton Jeanty's vision was just a little bit better, he would have 2,000 yards rushing this year. I mean, easily. I could go back. If you want me to, sign up to my Patreon. It costs $2. $2 for my Patreon. You get live film breakdowns. You can even request to have a film breakdown of your team, and I will also do that. So, check out my Patreon. The link is in my bio, I do believe, but go check that out. I do still do film breakdowns on YouTube, but they demonetize everything. So, if they're going to demonetize everything, I might as well do it on somewhere where y'all can watch that shit. But in my film breakdowns, I could pick 10 plays, just 10, 5 and 5, right? Probably one out of each game where if Ashton Jeanty would have just made the right cut, or just not ran into the guy in front of him and just waited like he did twice in this game, they were house touchdowns. There was nobody around. Their whole defense was sucked into the line of scrimmage except for one safety, and that's all you got to beat. And I'll take Ashton Jeanty with a safety all day. So the fact that Ashton Jeanty, if he had a better offensive line, and if his patience and his vision was just a little bit better, and it'll get better in time. It's hard seeing over these big gigantic trees that are 6'8" when you're 5'8". So you got a whole foot on this dude on the offensive line. So he needs to see the lanes. He needs to be out in space so he can see the gaps and see when he needs to cut, when he needs to run people over. And I believe Ashton Jeanty could really, if he was on if we didn't have Pete Carroll this season and we had a better offensive line coach, dude, his numbers would be off the charts. I believe they'd be better than Saquon. I believe they would be better than Barry Sanders. But that's a big if, right? You don't want an if running back taken 6th overall in a draft. You want a running back that can do this no matter what, right? Because Barry Sanders did it without a great offensive line. Saquon Barkley has done it without the greatest offensive line. Um, and their touches, right? Their touches are pretty close. Saquon Barkley had like 260 or 70 touches, I do believe, his rookie year. So Ashton Jeanty won't get near that. But if he had 280 touches, those numbers would be astronomically insane, bro. Insane. Blah 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 blah. Ashton Jeanty and Bowers could be one hell of a duo with play action. I mean, they are right now, and we don't even have a threat of the running game. Got to give credit to being able to make anything work behind this atrocious offensive line. And Bueno just said it there, right? I think for what he's done behind this atrocious offensive line, Ashton Jeanty, a stat that Barry Sanders and Saquon Barkley and Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs, right, and Eric Dickerson do not have. Out of Ashton Jeanty's 800 yards, 500 of them are after contact. 500 yards after contact. How anybody can sit there and talk anything bad about this man except for his patience and his vision, I don't see. I see a lot of elite traits. I see, vision will come with time, right? Once you get to know the game, once you trust your offensive line, once you know that, okay, they're calling this to be in the A gap, right? A cut back in the A gap, that hole's going to be there. Just hit it. And I think Ashton Jeanty has not seen that from this offensive line this year. But when he gets that, I think his vision will be 100 times better. Ashton Jeanty said he's going to have 1,500 yards this year. He's close to it, Unleashed Raider. He's close to it. He's really close to it. He's sitting at, what'd I say? He's sitting at 1187, I do believe, right now. So with 2 games left, if he has decent games like he had the last game, he could hit that number, right? But I do believe he said 1,500 yards rushing on the ground and another 3 or 4 receiving. I think he had himself at like 18 or 1,900 yards, but it's cool. Saint Jason, haha, you're funny, man. Hilarious, very original. Jeanty is greater than Barry Sanders and Eric Dickerson. Now that's crazy talk, bro. I'm not saying that. I'm saying he's up there in that tier, right? He should be talked about in that upper echelon of top running backs in the draft. And I said jokingly on my live during the game, I was like, damn, Ashton Jeanty keeps running like that. He's going to live up to that bust material that everybody's talking about. But seriously, on the vision part is not elite. And I think that's the only part of this young man that's not elite. The character is there. The burst is there. Like I said, the contact balance, everything, but the vision, the patience is even there. I think Jeanty's biggest problem is they're teaching this, right? Because if you go back and watch camp, you've seen the cone setup. Every time he would get the ball, their first move is a jump cut, And what happens when you do something over and over and over and over and over and over again, right? It becomes repetition. It becomes in your mind and it sinks in your mind. So I believe they've practiced it so many times of him taking a handoff and jump cutting to the left, jump cutting to the right? Because that's what they want him to do. Buy time, show patience, right? Slow to the hole, fast through the hole. And I think that's going to come once he gets more comfortable with this offensive line. And you can see he's already comfortable with the interior offensive line since it's been changed. He's way more comfortable with Dylan Parham. I think he's averaging 7 yards a carry behind Dylan Parham, I do believe. And, since Caleb Rogers has been in there, he's averaging, like 5 yards a carry behind him as well. So, yeah, Jeanty's going to be elite, bro. He's going to be elite. But like I said, just imagine what this young man would be if he had a quarterback. Because out of his 50 receptions, he's been throwing the ball 64 times. That's crazy. That's more than Trey Tucker has been throwing the ball. That's more targets than that's the third most targets or second most targets on the team, I do believe, for Ashton Jeanty. So Imagine if he had a quarterback that could lead your receiver, throw with anticipation. What Ashton Jeanty's numbers would be right now? It'd be crazy, bro. As a Jags fan, I hope we made y'all happy with us beating Denver. Also, good showing. Y'all exposed the Texans' offense. Yeah, I mean, we try to. That's what we do here in the Raider Nation. We try to help out as much as possible, right? Help out every team as much as possible. But I'm glad you brought that up too, because I want to drop a little bit of knowledge on you, right? Because I believe when you come to watch Raiders Unleashed, you become a smarter Raiders fan, right? So, um, anyways, I forgot what I was gonna say now. No, but the Raiders, you have to give. Do you have to give Pete Carroll credit, or do you have to give credit to Geno Smith? The dog is gonna go crazy in a minute. It's gonna be barking real loud. See, uh, but do you have to give credit to Pete Carroll, or do you have to give credit to Patrick Graham for this Raiders defensive play? Because if you look at the AFC West, the Raiders played Jacksonville better than anybody, right? If you look at the way we played the Broncos, right? We played the Broncos better than the Chiefs and the Chargers, right? If you look at the way, who else do we play? The Patriots, right? If you look at the way we played the Chicago Bears, the Raiders have played a lot of these top teams. Time out. That dog's gonna go fucking nuts. Dwayne being better than Robinson. You go by stats, and if you're watching the games, it's not even close. Debate him being better than Bijan Robinson. How is it not even close? If you put him behind Bijan Robinson's offensive line, I believe it's a lot closer than you think, bro. Like he has everything that you need, right? He's maybe not as fast as Bijan Robinson, but he's way more physical, right? He's gonna run guys over, and I've never heard anybody. I never heard Will Anderson after a game say, "Damn, I've never played a running back where got up and looked at that dude and said, this dude's a dog." Ashton Jeanty, when you're on defense and you face Ashton Jeanty, everybody that tries to tackle this young man knows they try to tackle Ashton Jeanty. They're going to remember his name. I promise you. He is one of those running backs. And Bijan Robinson is great, bro. I'm not taking anything away from Bijan. But to say that if I watch football, that Bijan Robinson compared to Jeanty is not even close, man, you're crazy, bro. He can catch out of the backfield. He can run people over. He can, his vision is not there yet, but I believe it'll get there. Shout out for the 199. Appreciate you in the building, Raiders. Unleashed Raider. Is your line? We got Alex Kappa in, bro. It's our line. We got Alex Kappa in. Alex Kappa's played good at center, man. He struggled at guard, the last 3 years of his career. And, shout out to whoever decided to put him at center. And I know they didn't put him at center because they thought he was going to be a better center than everybody. They put him at center because they failed with moving JPJ from center to guard. They put Kappa at center because they failed with thinking Jordan Meredith was just going to come in, never playing guard before in his life, and be a better center than JPJ. So, Alex Kappa's done pretty damn good, bro. He's done pretty good for at center. I'm not hating on him. And really, I mean, he's making $5 million a year. He's got a 2-year contract. I wouldn't be surprised if Alex Kappa comes back if Pete Carroll is here, with just because Spytek is in the building. Are you guys going to lose to the? You guys are going to lose to the Giants? Please, bro, please let us lose to the Giants. Please, that's all I ask. You guys stink. I mean, I'm not close enough to smell them, so I don't know if they stink or not. Hopefully they take showers. You think with all the money they got the best cologne and shit. So, what reserve? What? Dad, is that you? Yes, son. Yes, it is. Yes, you found me. You found me, bro. Dude, like I said, the Raiders suck. Kelly, You could keep saying it, but it's not going to change anything. You sound like Skip Bayless with stats. If numbers were everything, then Geno Smith would be better than Sanders. Wait. How does that make sense? Show up. How does that make sense? Please answer my question. How does this make sense, bro? If numbers were everything, then Smith would be better than Sanders. What Smith? Geno Smith? Who are we talking about here? Barry Sanders? Are we talking about Geno Smith and Shador Sanders? What are we talking about here, bro? What are we talking about? Please elaborate. Pete is over the hill. Shit, I hope he's rolling down the hill. Trade Crosby to Seattle Seahawks for the first, for a first and a third. First of all, you bumped your head, bro. You bumped your head. Max Crosby is getting 2 first rounds from 31 teams in the NFL. And there's probably 4 or 5 that would be willing to pay 3 first rounds for Max Crosby. So you could take that somewhere else. Max ain't going nowhere for a first and a third. That's a joke. That's funny shit. But good one, though. I needed a laugh today, bro. Boo, Cowboys better. I mean, they won that game. They won that game, by a Pete Carroll descendant that came in and, whooped the master. I was expecting that. I don't think the Cowboys are a better team. I think they got better weapons at receiver, for a deep threat, but they have a way better offensive line. Obviously, they have a better quarterback. But other than that, I think our defense, I'll take my defense over the Cowboys. Max Crosby is getting traded to the Bears. Max ain't going to the Bears, bro. You crazy. Go Donkeys. Go Donkeys. Kyle McKnight is way better than Jeanty. Bro, I'm not saying he's not. I don't know if he's way better. I don't think his contact balance is better. I don't think his low center of gravity is better. I guarantee he don't catch out of the backfield like Ashton Jeanty. But Kyle McKnight, Monangai is a beast, bro. I'm not taking anything away from him. And he's also on one of the top offensive lines in the NFL right now. They went and traded for 2 of the top offensive lines. They drafted a top offensive line. They have more top prospects on their offensive line and a way better coach. I'll say it. A way better coach, bro. way better coach. They possibly have a way better offensive coordinator. So I don't know if he's a better running back than Jeanty, but he's in a better system fit for his style running. Raiders suck. What's up? Go Rams. Geno's Pizza sounds better. Geno's Pizza. Seattle Seahawks are number 1 in the NFC. Let's go. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to y'all. Y'all got rid of the trash and, rose to the big leagues. Crosby not getting 2 first rounds. You crazy, bro. You high as hell if Crosby not getting 2 first rounds. I guarantee you. I'll put both nuts on it right now. If Crosby ever gets traded in the next 2 years, it's for 2 first rounds or more. Bears will give a first and a second. Yeah, they could keep that first and a second, too. Crosby might get traded for a second and a third. He's slowing down. Stop playing, bro. Stop playing. He's not slowing down. He still has 10 sacks. He's made it to his 5th Pro Bowl. He leads the league in tackles for a loss, and he's top 5 in pressures. Come on, man. He's not slowing down anywhere. Who do you think is the best running back? Best running back in quarterback of the league of all time? Like tandem together or separately? Cowboys will be in the playoffs next year. If the Cowboys end in the playoffs next year, Jerry Jones just needs to hang it up and just hand the team over to his son, right? Just be like, bro, you can't do any worse. Here you go. This is all you. I like Crosby, but no 2 first rounds. LOL. Man, ask anybody in this business. Ask anybody. Go to any other content creator, whether it's Raiders or not. Ask anybody in this business what they think Max Crosby is worth. I promise you, bro. I promise you. It's two. It's two first rounds minimum. Minimum. Separately, um, the greatest quarterback all time in the NFL. I mean, it has to be Tom Brady. But was it his fit? Was it the coaches? Was it, all around? I think it's kind of hard to say because, you know, there's a lot of quarterbacks that I feel were great on bad teams. Um, so it's hard to say. But, if you're looking at the rings, if you're looking at victories to losses, touchdowns to interceptions, I mean, you got to say Tom Brady. But if you're looking at, you know, just individual numbers, um, Tom Brady. If you're looking at team wise, still Tom Brady. Knees Duts, what's good? My guy says Joe Montana. You got to put Joe Montana in the conversation. I mean, playoffs after playoffs after playoffs, championship after championship. You know, you got to put him in the conversation. Maybe in his prime, but not now. Oh, we talking now? You talking right now? Oh, I thought you meant of all time. The best quarterback in the league right now. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Patrick Mahomes looks like he might be on a downcline. It's got to be Josh Allen or Joe Burrow. I mean, Joe Burrow with the team that he had put up 42 touchdowns last year to what, 5 or 6 interceptions. Yes, he has two of the best receivers in all of the NFL, but I don't know. Stafford is the best right now. Rod, first Crosby isn't worth 2 first round picks, and now you're gonna stand me and tell me that Stafford is the best. Let me ask you this: if Matthew Stafford was on the Patriots, would they still be winning like they're winning right now? You could take probably 15 quarterbacks in the NFL and put them on the Rams, and they would still probably be, you know, close to 500 or better, in my opinion, just because the weapons they got, the defense they got, the coaching they got. Um, if you take if you take Jaden Daniels away from the Washington Redskins, they win 3 games this year. If you take Drake May away from the Patriots, they might not win a game at all, right? So if you're looking at it that way, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I think Matthew Stafford has the best stats this year. I think it's very impressive for what he's doing for for his age, for having the bad back, for thinking about retiring in the middle of the season or at the end of the season last year. So yeah, Matthew Stafford is up there, but I don't know if he's the best quarterback in the NFL right now. If we're talking, stand in the pocket and throw the ball, yeah, he's probably there. But I think Drake May would be right behind him. Actually, really? Yes, they will. What? 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 Well, Stafford's killing it, man. Stafford is killing it. Not even gonna lie, one of my top scenarios this offseason is we trade 2 firsts for Crosby. That would make our front seven even scarier. Sports fan, what's good? What's good? Seattle, right? Seattle fan? I think you should get JJ McCarthy on the Rams, and they will win just as many. I mean, that's questionable. That's questionable. JJ McCarthy's young. He's 20 years old in the NFL. He's got a long way to go. He didn't throw the ball a lot at Michigan. That's Jim Harbaugh's fault. They were a running team. They won on defense and running the ball, and he was a game manager. So he's got a lot of catching up to do. But I like JJ McCarthy. I think he throws the ball harder than anybody in the NFL. He's got a strong arm. He's elusive. He's got the 9 side that comes out when he gets on a football field. You have not watched Stafford. Bro, I've watched every Rams game this year, I think. except for two. I haven't watched the last 2 weeks because I've been busy. But I watched all the other ones. And I'm not saying that Stafford's a dog, bro. Stafford's a dog, but he also has Puka Nakua. He also has Devontae Adams. He also has a solid ass running game. He also has an offensive line that gives him 5 seconds to throw the ball all day long. So I watched this film, bro. He's the dog. Seattle fan indeed. See, I remember. I remember. The old man remembers. You're a Seattle fan too. What's up with all the Seattle fans in the building? Stafford is the best thrower of the football I have ever seen. I don't know about ever seen. I give him. He's in the top 10, maybe five, probably five. He's in the top five. He does spin the hell out of the ball. He does have crazy accuracy. You hate the Raiders. Why? Why do you hate the Raiders? You want to talk about it? You need to get it out. Come on, Kelly, get it out. Let us know. You hate the Raiders. Why? Why? Is it Geno Smith? Is it Pete Carroll? Is it because you lost money betting on a shitty team? What is it? What is it? Please let me know what it be. What it be. Stafford has all the weapons to put up those numbers. If it wasn't for Stafford's prime, he would probably over 50. Oh, I agree 100%. I agree 100%. If Matthew Stafford was on a team better than the Detroit Lions in his first 5 years in the NFL, he might go down as the greatest of all time. I'm gonna be real. I'm a Texas fan. I saw the loss last week. Don't underestimate the Texans for real. Don't underestimate the Raiders for real is what you should be saying. Y'all came in overlooking that shit like, oh, it's the Raiders. We just gonna come in with a weak game plan. We're gonna party all week, and then when the Raiders come, we just gonna walk in and play the game. Y'all almost got upset. Y'all almost got upset. You never take a team lightly in the NFL. But I think it was the wake up call the Texans needed, right? I think the Broncos loss was a good loss for them going into the season with what did they win? 11 straight. God, the Broncos really won 11 straight, 10 straight. How many did they win? I don't know, but whatever they won was crazy. But um, teams that go into the playoffs, like the Patriots, 17-0, losing the Super Bowl to the Giants team that was 8-9 that year. It just happens. Who is your pick for new coach? Please don't take Kubiak. He's probably been the best OC since the Super Bowl win. I think he's probably tops on the list. I will say that, and I don't know. I don't know. Um, my number one quarterback is Mike LaFleur. Fail or not fail, take the shot. Take the shot. I think that's worth the chance. As long as he's been with McVay, he also comes from the Shanahan tree. You can't go wrong with that. You can't go wrong with that. Yes, he's young. Yes, it's a swing for the fences. But this offense, you got to say, no, he doesn't call the plays, but he comes up with them, right? He's involved mainly in that. He's an offensive coordinator for a reason. So um, either that, Robert Sala, I think we need discipline in the building. If he can get, a great up and coming offensive coordinator, a great offensive line coach. But I don't know, man. There's a lot of coaches. At this point, I could think of 10 coaches right now that I'd be happy with. Not named Pete Carroll, right? It'd be Clint Kubiak. It'd be Chris Shula. It would be Vance Joseph. It would be Robert Salah. Um, Shit, I don't. Okay, maybe not. I can't even think of 10. But you know what I mean. Um, the defensive coordinator for the Panthers, Irajo. whatever dude's name is. Damn, Kelly, chill, right? Kelly is losing it because Geno Smith. I never thought I'd find somebody that hates Geno Smith more than me. Raiders need Dylan Gabriel. Oh, come on, don't do that to us, bro. Don't you put that bad juju on me, Ricky Bobby. Puka's fifth rounder, but he's the best receiver in the league right now. So don't say Puka first round pick. Um, Puka should have been a first round pick. He's playing like a first round pick. It's ridiculous. I'm glad you brought that up too. Let's talk about Puka Nacua. It's ridiculous that the NFL, with the way they do these rookies, right? Puka Nacua is the best receiver by far in the NFL. The dude is only making like $1.4 million, I think they said. Um, he said after he pays everything, he's left with like $400,000 to be the best receiver in the NFL right now. Absolutely crazy. Shout out to that dude for still grinding. The truth is, yes, we didn't care nothing much about them. We actually played pretty good. Uh, I mean, I don't know if they played pretty good. I think the Texans really helped them by overlooking us, right? They didn't run the ball on us. Uh, CJ Stroud, yeah, he had 2 touchdowns, but he didn't throw the ball to Nico Collins enough, his number one target. He didn't throw the ball to Schultz enough. They didn't throw the ball out of the backfield at all. I don't believe. So they made it very easy for the Raiders to hang in there. You're right. The Texans vastly overlooked the Raiders. Almost cost them. Yeah, it almost cost them big time. It almost cost them their playoff chances, right? Like, not that they're have a huge chance, but that loss would have been the end. The problem is you're absolutely correct. They came in joking. It was no joke. Yeah, I mean, and how could you not, right? If you look at this franchise and you look at Pete Carroll, being talks of being one and done, bringing in his kids to be the offensive coordinator, to be the run game coordinator and the offensive line coach, the other kid as the quarterback coach, assistant quarterback coach, and passing game coordinator. So when you're looking at all this, you can't help but be like, man, this team, they have way too many things to focus on than beating us. And right, we're sitting at second in the draft. So why would we try to win? To get caught off guard any given Sunday. Like Tom Brady was basically a smart quarterback, average, but he's decent. He decided to decrease his play for good players to get them 7 Super Bowls. Average, but he decided to decrease his pay. Sorry, I missed that part. Yeah, Tom Brady's the GOAT, man. You don't see too many people in the NFL willing to take less money, but he was the face of the NFL at the time, and he didn't really need the money, right? He's got other businesses he owns. He was in commercial after commercial after commercial, so he didn't really need that money. And that's what players do. And I've said this about Max Crosby, right? If Max Crosby really wanted to win with the Las Vegas Raiders this year, with no matter who the coach was, he wouldn't have took an extension, right? He would have said, just give me guaranteed money. Just give me guaranteed money. Cash money, guaranteed. That's all I want. 10 mil, whatever, 10 mil a season. He just wanted guaranteed money. So for him to take another 2-year extension, take all that money, wasn't much money away from the Raiders, but to take that money away and then just to have to deal with it again in 2 years is crazy. So shout out to Tom Brady for, being that dude to take less money to build the team around him. Cam Ward needs Kubiak. Oh, that would be nasty, bro. Uh, I think the Titans already have their coach. I think they already have their coach. If you want to know who it is, pull up to the live tomorrow. Pull up to the live tomorrow. Geno Smith screwed me up on my fantasy team. Oh, now the truth comes out, Kelly. Now it comes out. So your hatred for Geno Smith is because you took the wrong quarterback in your fantasy league and you lost. So your bad decision making has you angered at Geno Smith for his horrible play this season. Do you think that's fair? Do you think that's fair? Just saying. I'm from Northern Cali, Stockton. What up? Shout out Stockton. Originally, I live in Texas, but now I live in Texas now, but I was raised Texan. Nice. Shout out to Stockton. Shout out to the Texans. I'm a California boy that lives in Arkansas. Titans tried that with Bill Callahan. I mean Brian Callahan. Sorry, Bill Callahan. Speaking of the Callahans, I mean some people aren't gonna like this, but I really wouldn't mind bringing old Bill back to the offensive line coach if we can't find one better. No, I beg the rest of the league, do not take Kubiak away. He's gone, bro. He, unless he decides that he wants to stay in Seattle, you know, and keep his run going and build, build a little better legacy there. I think he's gone. I think there's too many teams that need an offensive minded head coach. You know, his father was a Super Bowl winner. Um, he comes from that tree. I'm not trying to bring you down, my guy, but I'm just trying to prepare you for what could come, when the season is over. And if you hear these words, new coach of the, New York Giants are the the Tennessee Titans are the Las Vegas Raiders, Clint Kubiak. Just remember, I tried to talk you off the ledge, bro. I tried to talk you off the ledge. Good tight end in the Raiders. They need to use him better. Oh my God, that's yeah. Who I got for the Super Bowl? Um, I'm looking at, you know, maybe, maybe possibly Seattle and New England. Maybe possibly the Rams in New England. Maybe possibly the Rams and the Bills. You know, with the Chiefs being out of the way for the Buffalo Bills, this is the first time in a long time that the Buffalo Bills have had, the Super Bowl in their sights and not have to look at their schedule and see the Kansas City Chiefs, their nemesis that they can't seem to beat, sitting in their way. So this could be the year for the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen is, had some bad games a couple weeks ago, but has turned it around. This team, their defense is playing well. Their run game is doing well. Um, the Bills could be a team to watch out for. Again, the Patriots could be a team to watch out for. In the AFC, the Broncos, you never know if they lost this game. They won 11 in a row. Maybe they go back on a big, huge, win streak again and make it to the Super Bowl. I would die if they did that and throw up in my mouth. But it could happen. I don't know. There's a lot of teams that are sneaky, man. The Colts, the Colts, if they could get somebody to come in, maybe Riley Leonard, have some faith in Riley Leonard and just let him throw the damn ball because the kid is an athletic quarterback. And you got a rookie quarterback, you might as well use them. Or if they can go out and find somebody in free agency, maybe they should have called Colin Kaepernick instead of, instead of calling up Father Time Phillip Rivers. So I don't know. I don't know, man. Right now, I don't know. We have to wait till the season's over. Give me 2 weeks. I'll do it live. Super Bowl predictions, playoff predictions. We'll break it all down. But I appreciate the question. Um, yeah, the Raiders need to do Brock Bowers much better. It's been a horrible year. And, I'm really disappointed in Brock Bowers that when Kenny Pickett was the quarterback, they asked him in a press conference, how he felt about Kenny Pickett being the quarterback. And he said, I just hope Geno Smith comes back. Has Pete Carroll got this man brainwashed that he thinks Geno Smith is the quarterback that's going to help him? Because I believe in the 5 games Aiden O'Connell played last year, he had better numbers with Aiden O'Connell than he does with Geno Smith right now. So, yeah. Get Marcus Freeman from Notre Dame. Damn good coach right there. I know there's a lot of people in Raider Nation that don't want any college coaches, but however, because it takes a minute, it takes them to, adapt to the NFL to get their networking and shit involved, get their coaches lined up, right? But I think Marcus Freeman is one of those guys that has it. I think the Indiana coach is one of those dudes that could jump to the NFL and, be pretty dominant right away. I also think Dan Lanning, right? The Oregon's coach, right? If he got an opportunity, if they win the Natty this year, say Oregon wins the Natty this year, if somebody calls up Dan Lanning and says, "Yo, I want you to be my head coach, and we're drafting Dante Moore, get him to come to the NFL and not stay in school," I think that would be a huge, huge win for any team. Any team. But yeah, Marcus Freeman is a dog, bro. I think he'd do well in the NFL. I think he would. You get people to follow you. If you get people to pick up what you're putting down and will run through a brick wall for you, the sky's the limit. And I think he has that energy. Geno Smith, because he screwed my fantasy team, and Josh Jacobs. Damn, got to pick better players, my guy. Crosby and Seattle Seahawks um, for a first and a third. Never gonna happen. Never gonna happen. Never gonna happen. You got to realize that if you want Max Crosby, it's got to be something absurd because Max Crosby has a relationship with Mark Davis. They go to lunch on a daily basis, bro. He knows this. Mark Davis knows his family. Mark Davis has a favorite player in the Raiders, and it is clearly Max Crosby. Nobody has communications with Mark Davis like Max Crosby does. You think an owner is going to give up his favorite player and a dude he has an off the field relationship and a friendship with for a first and a third? Fuck out of here. Come on, bro. Do better. Do better. Um, just mess with you. Well, Kelly, your first problem was having Geno as your fantasy quarterback. That's what I'm saying. Shout out to the 20 people in the building. Double tap the screen, man. All you gotta do is go boop boop. It's simple. It's simple. Or you can go boop boop. Right, hit it with an elbow. Either way, just double tap the screen. I appreciate y'all. I had Geno Smith and Josh Jacobs and Micah Parsons, and Will Anderson on fantasy. Are you living in a fantasy, Kelly? Because you don't pick defensive players on fantasy football. You pick a defensive team, bro. So how did you have Michael Parsons and Will Anderson on your fantasy team? what fantasy are you playing? Am I in the wrong fantasy league? Broncos country. Not over here, bro. You in that country. You in this country. Raiders. Bro, these NFL players get taxed insanely. Oh, I know. It's absolutely ridiculous. But when you make that kind of money, shit, you should be able to afford it. Texas did that, limit the injuries, and that's why they played soft. Um, I don't think they played soft I mean, that's a good reason, but I don't think they intentionally played soft. I think they just overlooked them, right? Because if you intentionally play soft to not injure your players when you're 8-4 or 9-4 and you're battling for a playoff spot, you should be fired. You should be fired. um, I don't know either Gino or Dylan Gabriel. I'm taking Dylan Gabriel all day long, bro. I'll take Dylan Gabriel in a hot minute. In a hot minute. How does it feel being a Raiders fan? Lakers fan. I'm a Lakers fan also. So, here in a little bit, it'll feel good when my Lakers go out there and get a win without Luka Doncic. You know, Mr. Milk, come out there and dominate AR-15. So, it's tough being a Raiders fan, bro. It's tough being a Raiders fan. I love it. It's good conversation when I walk around with this on my arm, right? Boom, Raiders, right? I'm always wearing silver and black, so I don't hide it. Like, I ain't going nowhere. It feels like it does every year, to be honest with you, being a Raiders fan. Another year of disappointment, another year of misery, another team of watching an ass quarterback that shouldn't be out there when the real quarterback is sitting on the bench, but there's people are too stupid to realize it. It's the same old every year. Rookies not getting to play when they're better than the veterans that are on their way out in their last leg. Same old. DK Metcalf, yeah, blah, 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 blah. DK Metcalf got fined for punching a fan. And like that money fine, he has most people's life salary. It's absolutely ridiculous that you would be so stupid as an NFL player to put your hands on a fan because you can't control your temper no matter what they said. If it's about your mama, if they called you the N word, it doesn't matter, bro. Come on, you got to be more respectful than that. You got to have more restraint, right? More self respect than to go over there and do what a fan is wanting you to do. And not even mention the dude's probably going to get sued and he's going to lose, way more money than he did lose. But there was in his contract for DK Metcalf. For y'all that don't know, the the Pittsburgh Steelers, very smart, had it in his contract that for any reason he missed a game because of conduct detrimental to the franchise, his whole guaranteed for this year and next year, I believe, is null and void, wiped out. $49+ million it's going to cost this man for not being able to control his anger. And then when this dude goes and gets a lawyer, it's probably going to cost him everything he owns. How is it? How does it being a Lakers fan? Um, it's better than being a Raiders fan. You know, I'm a Dodgers fan as well. How's that? How's that? It's great, bro. It's great, right? The Lakers, in the playoffs every year. Um, you can't complain about your team being in the playoffs every year. The Dodgers, they own baseball. Can't control about that. My Kings aren't doing very good. The Las Vegas Knights, they're in the playoffs every year. So my teams are doing well, bro. My teams are doing well. Thank you for asking. Must be easy being a Lakers fan. They just bandwagon everything. Come on, bro. Don't do that to me. I've been a Lakers fan since I was like 4 years old, bro. That's since I could watch basketball. That's 46 years. So, um, but yeah, they kind of do. How does it feel being a Lakers fan? Man, what are you stuck on repeat, bro? Does somebody need to smack you in the back of your head to spit the words out? My guy Kelly, you are just stuck on repeat, bro. Crosby needs to leave the Raiders. I mean, if he wants to win, I feel by the time this team is, ready to compete for a playoff win in a Super Bowl, he's gonna be done past his prime. Goes for the Warriors. Back to the Lakers. Warriors back to the Lakers. I've never been a Warriors fan. Uh, the only person I really ever liked from the Warriors was Chris Mullin. Like that's the only player I really like. Nothing against the goat over there now, but my personal preference. You don't care the Lakers suck. That's not nice, bro. Do shit up and worry about yourself, right? Tell them. You like the Timberwolves? Man, they haven't had a good team in a while, bro. Like, since what, Kevin Garnett years? Wasn't Kevin Garnett a Timberwolf? I don't know, I'm old. Hard time for the Raiders and their fan base. Not just good. Glad you brought that up. That leads me into my next topic. Since I don't have my phone and oh, my fucking back, bro. It's crazy. Oh, my God. Which brings me to my next topic. The Las Vegas Raiders, right? Wait, what the hell? Where'd it go? Oh, I forgot. Damn it. I forgot I was going to talk about my next topic. Oh, Where'd that comment go? I don't know. The hell. Well. Oh, hard times for the Raiders and their fan base. That's the norm, bro. That's the norm. It's always been a hard time for the Raiders and their fan base. But speaking of hard time, speaking of hard times for this Raider fan base, we have some decisions to make, bro. We have one, two, three, four, four contract, four contract years. Um, I know Zamir White's not getting another contract, but there's a couple players that need to be talked about, right? Is Parham worth bringing back for the Las Vegas Raiders? Let me know in the comments. Do you believe Dylan Parham has done enough to come back and compete for that roster spot? Danny, I always appreciate Pete's time in Seattle. He won a Super Bowl, legendary run with the Legion of Boom. However, it's time to move on. The game has clearly passed him by. Right? Right? Screenshot that. Screenshot that. Oh, sports jazz fan. I need to get you on the show one of these times so you can talk about Pete Carroll, right? We get a Seattle's perspective from a fan that, like you said, appreciates what he did in Seattle the time he was there, creating the Legion of Boom, right? And then from having to get to the point where you can move on. So let me know, bro, if you want to come on one of these days and pull up, talk some football. How long have you been a Lakers fan? Me? My whole life, bro. I'm the most loyalist person on the planet. I've rooted for one basketball team for 50 years. I'm 50. 5-0. For 50 years, I've rooted for one basketball team, the Los Angeles Lakers. I've rooted for one baseball team, the Los Angeles Dodgers. I've rooted for one football team, the Oakland, Los Angeles, and the Las Vegas Raiders. And that's it, bro. That's it. I've never flip flopped. I've never rooted for anybody. I might root for a team that's in the Super Bowl. More than the other team. Like last year, I wanted the Eagles to win because the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, I shouldn't have to answer that, but my whole life, bro. My whole life, I am a very loyal person, loyal to a flaw, because it seems like I just like pain and misery. College, now that's different. College, there's 580 college football teams. So if you only have one, that's a boring college football life. So I do have a couple college football teams, but I only have two college basketball teams: UNLV and Arkansas Razorbacks. Hello from Little Rock, Arkansas. What's good? Finally, somebody from Arkansas. Shout out. Nice to meet you. Brendo Foster. What's good, my guy? The Lions are better than who? Bills in the Super Bowl? Against who, though? You can't just say Bills in the Super Bowl. Who are they playing, right? If you're going to give Super Bowl predictions, oh, God. If you're going to give Super Bowl predictions, we need to know who they playing. Who they facing? F the Patriots. Bills Super Bowl. I'll be devastated if Kubiak leaves. And I think it's quite possible. Kubiak has been a revelation of our offense. And, like I said, bro, his father comes from that. He has the respect of, his father. What he's done in the NFL, right? So the way he's came up, the positions he's been in, right? It's time. It's time. There's a lot of people in the NFL that talked about it last year. I think he got some interviews last year, and he didn't have the greatest time, and with the Saints, but that offense was still banging. Some people say he didn't have the greatest time as the Saints, offensive coordinator, but I don't know if that was all his fault. Like Derek Carr, bro, before he got hurt, had like 15 touchdowns to 2 interceptions in like 4 games or 5 games, something. So, yeah, Kubiak's a dog, bro, and everybody in the NFL knows it. Lions aren't making the playoffs. I don't feel they are either. Lions are about to not make the playoffs. Yep, shit. And the Chiefs, bro. The Kansas City Chiefs are about to not make the playoffs, or already are not making the playoffs since the first time since in 14 years. 14 years. Thank God the dynasty is coming to a crumble, or I hope it keeps crumbling. The Rams and Donkeys. Haven't we already had that Super Bowl? Let me know in the comments. Didn't the Rams and the Donkeys play in a Super Bowl once with Peyton Manning? Or am I wrong? I'm probably wrong. I don't know. How do you lose to the Steelers and Aaron Rodgers? What do you mean? Have you not seen that defense? Like, they have dogs over there. And they also have 2 running backs that are on fire right now. Um, both them running backs, I can't think of either one of their names. I'm drawing a blank. But both of their running backs are just killing it. There's a reason why they let Najee Harris go in free agency, right? Morris is over there just racking it up. So, man, the Steelers have a nasty run game. They have an experienced Aaron Rodgers, which is really going to help if they do make the playoffs, which I don't think they're making the playoffs. But that team, bro, with all the problems they have with DK Metcalf, that was a bad decision. It just seems to have gone sour from the get go. And maybe they should have, they should be smart and see what they have in Will Howard. Like, if I'm the Steelers, I don't know if they're still in playoff contention. I think it's like a long shot if I'm correct. But man, at this point, just if they are out of the playoff race, or if it's a long shot, you might want to put in that kid and see what he's got. The Bills don't look great, but this is their chance. Yeah, they don't look great, but like I said, this is definitely their window. Kansas City has been their nemesis in the playoffs. They have knocked them out of the playoffs every year for the last 3-4 years, I do believe. Are you talking about NFL, not basketball? We jump back and forth. Remember when Ant sent the fakers home in the playoffs? Did you make me just say fakers, bro? That's messed up. I got to start pre-reading my comments. I can't believe that word just came out of my mouth. Why you sabotage me like that, bro? Why you sabotage me like that? Phillip Rivers is balling better than most of the quarterbacks at 44 years old. I mean, I don't know if you say balling, right? This is what I've said on this channel. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, well, damn, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, tickle the notification button so you get notified when I go live and drop shit like this. However, that team is balling, bro. You have one of the best running backs in the league. You have a solid defense. You have, Sauce Gardner that you traded a first-round pick for on corner. But you have a good defense. You have one of the best owners that's, involved in the team. She's down there writing notes in every practice, down there taking notes at every game. And Phillip Rivers walked into a damn good situation, which is why I say that if they had any brains, they would put Riley Leonard out there, bro. Riley Leonard can spin the hell out of the ball. He's a mobile quarterback that can make things happen just like Jackson Dart, right? Maybe even more than Jackson Dart when it comes to running. He's not the fastest, but he's sneaky good, right? He's squeaky. squeaky, sneaky fast. Um, and I just feel like Phillip Rivers, come on, man, he looked out of shape. Yes, it was a great story, but the balls were like wobbling ducks. Every single pass was like, woo. Um, and I think they would have just had a better opportunity with Rylan Leonard, in my opinion. But it made for a great story. It made for a great story. Now, if he would have had time to be in shape, I think he could still come back and play for a season if he had a full off season. But coming in, when you're the coach of a high school team, that's kind of hard to do. Kind of hard to do. But shout out to Phillip Rivers, man. It was fun watching for sure. Shout out for the 100. But those Jaguars have come to the show. Watch out, bro. The Jackson Jaguars are for real. And, another team that the Raiders have just made great. We gave them Jacoby Myers. They had this is the best thing that Jacksonville could have ever done. And people have asked over and over again who I thought won this trade. It's clearly Jacksonville. I don't give a shit about a fourth round pick. How many times do you get lucky and get a Max Crosby in a fourth round pick, right? That's Max Crosby is probably the best fourth round pick. Okay, is the best fourth round pick that the Raiders have ever had. But I don't know, other than Aiden O'Connell, too many players that were drafted in the fourth round for the Raiders or any team, that turn out to be Pro Bowlers, turn out to be dogs. So I ain't worried about a fourth round. The seventh round, I mean, what are we getting out of that? Just another guy to put on the roster that could or could not turn out to be something. But the Jacksonville Jaguars, a playoff team, battling for a playoff berth. They get one of the best receivers in the NFL. And I don't care if you say Jacoby Myers is not a number one, if he's a number two, or if he's number 8. Jacoby Myers, what he is a fucking dog. That dude is a dog. He will block. He will smack people. He will run, routes. He will be a decoy. He doesn't care if he gets the football. He's not a diva. He doesn't need receptions, 10 times targeted his way. He will make the best of his plays when he gets the football. He catches everything thrown his way. Last year for the Raiders, 0 drops, 1,000 yards. To trade away a receiver like that to a playoff team is a shitty move for the Las Vegas Raiders. To get rid of him was to do the way they did Jacoby Myers for everything he's done for Vegas since he's came from the Patriots was a shitty move for the Raiders. But for the Jacksonville Jaguars, they got a dog, bro. They got a dog that's gonna help. It's gonna help the hell's their receiver? Oh my God, I can't think of nothing. I don't know what's going on in my brain today. Brian Thomas Jr. It's going to help Brian Thomas Jr., who has been struggling this year as a rookie, right? It's going to help the other rookie when they get him back. It's going to help them on both sides of the ball, defense and offense. It's going to allow them to maybe not have to use, their second round pick overall or third, wherever they drafted Travis Hunter. It's going to allow the Jacksonville Jaguars to put that man on defense and not have to play him on offense, bringing in a Jacoby Myers. So Jacoby Myers could be your number 1 receiver. He could be your number 2 receiver. He could be your number 3 receiver. Hell, you can even use him as a tight end and, run 13 personnel if you had to. So shout out for the, Jacksonville Jaguars for signing Jacoby right off the rip, for pulling the trigger. It shows that, what great franchises or well-run organizations will do. They took a chance on a Liam Cohen, right? A lot of people thought that was a bad decision. Oh my God, wasn't the right move, right? But they went out. They took a chance on him. They swung for the fences. It's turned out to be one of the best coaching moves of this coaching cycle. So shout out to Jacksonville. They are a sneaky, scary team. What they did to the Denver Broncos put the whole entire NFL on notice, and they have a good running game. They have a solid offensive line. Trevor Lawrence is playing out of his mind right now. Shout out to my guy ECG, big Jaguars fan, but not the biggest Trevor Lawrence fan. And Trevor Lawrence is showing he is him right now. 4 touchdowns this last week, 6 touchdowns the week before. 4 or 5 the week before that. This man is on a crazy run the last couple of weeks, and Trevor Lawrence is feeling it, bro. And if somebody doesn't knock them off their pedestal before the playoffs, this team could mess around and find themselves in the Super Bowl. Um, so you asked me what teams. I did leave the Jacksonville Jaguars out, and I apologize for that. Any Jaguar fans in the chat or any Jaguar fans that watch this, that team does have a chance to make a run in the playoffs, right? They have a damn good defensive coordinator that I wouldn't mind being the Raiders head coach also. Hey, how's it going? I got a question. Cajun Rage, ask your question. What it do? What it do? Timberwolves or basketball? Kelly's just trolling, man. You know that. Dan Lanning seems like a college thought. I have serious doubts on leaving. That's what I said. That's why I said if Oregon wins the Natty, if Oregon wins the Natty and some NFL team throws him, 10, 12, $15 million a season to come in and run their franchise, I think he would jump on it. Especially if that team was in need of a quarterback and you said, "Hey, come out, get Dante Moore to come out of get Dante Moore to enter the NFL draft and let's roll with that," right? I think that would be great. And if you win the Natty, bro, like, come on, man, you're dominating college football over there. What coach in their right mind, self-respecting coach in their right mind, would not want a chance to better himself and make it to the NFL and prove that it's not just college that you can dominate year after year, right? Shout out for the 4.99 Unleashed Raiders. I feel bad. What? I have bad feelings that the Chiefs will try to throw the game on the last game. Let's talk about that. 21 people in the building. How do you feel? Do you think the Chiefs and Andy Reid could possibly pull the rug out from under the Las Vegas Raiders, sabotage their season and their hopes of getting the first round pick? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know in the comments below. Type Y for yes, N for no. Do you think the Kansas City Chiefs would be that shitty of a franchise to make sure they do everything in their power to lose this game, to make sure the Raiders don't have the number one overall spot if they manage to lose to the Giants? Let me know. Y for yes, N for no. Shout out to everybody in the building, everybody that's came through. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Appreciate you rocking with your guy. Appreciate the questions. Hey, guess what, Raiders? Oh my God, I'm not listening to you, bro. Have you heard today the Packers DC is getting some love to be a head coach? Can't think of his name. Chef me his hint. Um, Matt Caft. Caft, is that his name? Right, the Packers DC. Yeah, I think that's it. That's a name that apparently has been circling around the NFL for a while, and the way he's done with this team is definitely a name that a lot of people are looking at. I've heard that name is. Let me figure out his name because I don't want to say here. Defensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers. Halfley, that's it. Halfley. Jeff Halfley. So, I heard Halfley was being looked at by the Tennessee Titans as well as the New York Giants. And damn, how could you not take that Giants job? Having Jackson Dart, having the defense, right? You're a defensive coordinator and you have the defense, Burns and Carter and all these Thorough, whatever the hell dude's name is, all these dudes that the Giants have that are former first round picks on that front defensive line. Could you imagine Jeff Hafley going over there? I mean, he's done a great job. Look, I mean, look what he was doing with Michael Parsons before he got hurt. Also, so yeah, there's a lot of good names in this coaching cycle. That's why I'm saying the Raiders. We might not be the best job, we might not be the most attractive job, but if we end up with the first or second, even at the second overall pick, you can't look at Brock Bowers, Ashton Jeanty, um, Colton Miller, JPJ, Caleb Rogers, Max Crosby, right? Jeremy Chin, um, Darian Porter, Jack Best. You can't look at the young talent on this team and say, nah, they're too far away. I believe this job is way more attractive than people are um, being led to believe. And I think there will be coaches beating the door down for this job. However, with that being said, I think having a quarterback in place, like the Titans and Cam Miller, you know, it leads those coaches in that direction. They already have the pieces there. They don't have to worry about being that guy to draft that quarterback, right? They already have them in place. I think that's why Ben Johnson is so successful with the Chicago Bears. He took the right team. He took a team that had a quarterback that could run his system. He brought in a running back that could help the running back that's already there run his system, and that's why they're successful. So, yeah, there's a lot of coaches in this cycle that could be that next Ben Johnson. Three Super Bowls in 5 years, though. Season has been disappointing, but what a run for KC. Yeah, yeah, that dynasty is forever forever embedded in NFL legacy. Like you can't take away what they did, just like what the Patriots did with Tom Brady, just like what the Cowboys did with Troy Aikman and Emmitt Smith and Michael Irvin. Right? You can't take that shit away. It's there. If Davis cared for Crosby, he would let him go win a chip because he won't. I'm far behind again. Oh my God! What's your thoughts on DK Metcalf situation? Um, I don't know if I answered that earlier. You grew up on Kobe. Yeah, Kobe was, in my opinion, the greatest of all time. But I'm a Lakers fan, so I'm gonna be biased. Bummed Pete Carroll couldn't do it with the Raiders. Hey, to be honest, Hawks fan, you know, I'm kind of a little bit bummed too. I had very high expectations for Pete Carroll, and you know, being a logical, sensible Raider fan, that's why I hope most of y'all come to this channel, right? I hope. But being that logical, sensible Raider fan, I also prepared myself knowing that Geno Smith and his love for Geno Smith and his favoritism for players that he's shown continuously was going to hurt this franchise and hurt this team this year if everything didn't go right. So I'm kind of bummed it didn't go right for Carroll. But on the other hand, I'm a little bit happy. I'm a little bit happy because in 3 years, where we have been, right? Say it went right this year. They were over 500. They won 9 games. Next year, they're in the middle of the draft. You get a draft pick. You get 11 players in the draft, right? None of them play under Pete Carroll again, like the players this year. And then you go into the third year, with maybe a couple more 1 or 2 wins, maybe probably win 9, 10 games. It's still a tough division, right? It's still a tough division that's still dominated by the Chiefs when they're healthy. The Broncos are killing it right now on their win streak. You still have Harbaugh and the Chargers. So what would Pete Carroll have in the building really do? Um, if he was to have success, I don't think it would have helped us because in 3 years, when his contract's over, he's going to be too old to renew the contract. And you're going to get a head coach that's going to come in and say, I don't like this guy Pete Carroll brought in. I don't like this guy Pete Carroll brought in. This quarterback's got to go. I don't like this guy. I don't like this guy. And let's trade all these pieces and start over from the beginning. So it was kind of good for the franchise, for the team, for the fans. I know they don't want to hear this, that we had a shitty season, but it is kind of good in a way. There is a silver lining, no pun intended. There is a silver lining. to the way this season has gone. Because if it went the other way, we could be good for a year or two and then just in 3 years be set back to the same position we've been in for the last 25. Lakers, my team too. Nice. Shout out. Shout out. So speaking of that, man, if y'all Lakers fans, I will be doing some Lakers lives. Uh, I will be doing some live streams also on the Patreon. Pull up over to there. The link is in should be in the description. Uh, maybe it's at the bottom. I think Unleashed Raider pinned it. I don't have much shit up going on right now. I'm working on getting a lot of stuff going on. But when the football season is over and the off season is slow for the Raiders, I will still be on every day talking about the Raiders, something about the Raiders. Probably not 3-4 hours like I usually do. But during that time, there will be more of me talking about the Lakers. So if y'all want to see that content, let me know. And we will do some more Lakers shit. I might even just start a Lakers channel and start a new channel and, just do basketball on that one. Where do you want the Raiders to grab in the draft? Just by the eye test, I wouldn't be mad at Caleb Downs. If Dante Moore comes out, I wouldn't be mad at Dante Moore, but only if they win the Natty because that gives them 24 starts or 23 starts, which is a lot better than 18 or 19, right? You don't think those starts make a difference, but every snap makes a difference in college football going into the NFL. The more experience you have, the better. I really like Francis Mauiaga. I probably butchered his name. The tackle. I really like Fanu, the tackle from Utah. There's a reason the Arkansas Razorbacks. There's a reason the Las Vegas Raiders. Just called them the Razorbacks. Damn. There's a reason the Las Vegas Raiders have been at four of the Utah games this year. They've also been at 4 of the Oregon games this year. They have been at 5 of the Penn State games this year. Those are the most games that known scouts, not undercover scouts, because I know they have undercover scouts that nobody wants seeing, dressed up in hoodies and a hat, glasses and shit on. But the scouts that are known Raider scouts that people know, that have been verified, being in the building. 5 games, Penn State. I do believe that's where the tackle Francis is. Other than that, I don't know who out of Penn State they would be looking at. They've been to Oregon 4 times, 4 of their games. Big games. The big games. The top 25 teams that they played. There's been Raider scouts. Not just 1, not just 2, not just 3, not just 4. But a lot of Raider scouts at those games. So they are definitely interested in Dante Moore. They are definitely interested in, probably a couple players on the defensive line at Oregon. And they are also, interested in some Utah players. So if I had my picking, I'm trading back, man. I am team trade back. I am the captain of this ship. If you don't believe me, you can go watch every other YouTube content creator that's been saying Mendoza, the Raiders need a quarterback. Not this guy. Trade back. We need help. We need so much help. We need a lot of help, right? And not on the starters, just a couple there. But if we get help at the starting positions, offense and defense, we can move those guys that are starters that shouldn't be starters and probably wouldn't be on any other team. We could move them to the backup role and, have them have a lesser role, and that gives us more depth. So trade back. And I don't care, if we go offense, if we go defense, pull up. What I say tomorrow, we are doing coaches. Pull up tomorrow on the live. We will do coaches and we will do NFL. We will do a little breakdown. We might even, I'm not going to be that guy. I'm not doing drafts until I know who has entered the NFL draft, right? It's stupid to say, oh, I'm going to take, Dante Moore with the first overall pick, and then the dude doesn't enter the draft, right? So there will be no mock drafts until everybody is declared. Then we'll start rolling with those. But we will talk about players I will do probably my top, you know, was there 7 positions? I'll probably do my top 14 players or something. Two top players from every position tomorrow. So pull up for that. Listen, you got to understand. I hate the Lakers. I'm a Javs fan, so you can only see why um, Kobe tormented my franchise. Yeah, right, right. For how many years did he torment that franchise? I respect Kobe, but find him vastly overrated. Come on, bro. Now that's just hate talking. You cannot call the Black Mamba overrated. That is crazy, and that is a talk for my Lakers channel that I might be doing. I don't know, but you cannot call Kobe the Goat Bryant overrated, bro. No way. He is the top 3 all time ever to put on sneakers and step on a hardwood floor. It's not even close. It's not even close. The mentality, the mindset, the killer instinct, the moves, the skill and the flow and the smoothness doing it. He would talk shit all game long, tell you what he was gonna do, and just constantly do it. Ask any NBA player that's ever played against him. 90% of them, 99% of them have Kobe as number one. But I could understand being a Jazz fan. You tried to run that shit ass pick and roll with John Starks and Karl Malone over and over and over and over again. And the shit didn't work with Kobe and Shaq, bro. So, as a Jazz fan, I feel your pain, bro. I feel your pain. But don't hate on Kobe because of it, my guy. I gladly haven't watched the NBA games since our Sonics were stolen. Oh, that was rough too. That was rough too. Sean Kemp. Okay, I did say I've never rooted for any team other than the Lakers in basketball. There might have been a small. I did love the hell out of Sean Kemp and Gary Payton in Seattle, but they weren't my team, right? I didn't root for them, but I did watch them any chance I could get, and yeah, that was man. Why don't they have a team back yet? The NBA is talking about expanding, right? I heard them talking about expanding. They need to be a team in Seattle, bro. There has to be a team in Seattle. Let's start a petition, bro. We need the Seattle Supersonics back in the NBA. It's a tragedy that they're not even in there. Like, come on, man. That team was fire. Those playoff games with Gary Payton. So smooth, they made a weed after him, bro. They named a weed after Gary Payton. Dude, so fire. Yeah, man, that sucks. Why you gotta bring up the Supersonics? I did like the hell out of that team. That team has some dogs, bro. They play with fire. Bro, you think the Raiders suck? The Lions suck. Nah, bro, you're still just stuck on the Lions thing. No, I guess we moved on from the Cowboys. Um, we missed you, Kelly. All right, man. It's been 2 hours, bro. I appreciate all of y'all. Let me read these. Think of anything. Hawks did 30 rooting. Hawks did Pete dirty. I don't Hawks fan. I don't know. I don't know how you could be a Hawks fan and say they did him dirty. Like the success they've had with him out of the building, with Mike McDonald and the GM that finally finally gets to pick some players. They killed it in this draft, bro. They got Nick Eamon at what 24 or some shit. Where did they get Nick Eamon? Like, bro, they got Nick Eamon. They got Gray Zabel. Those would have never been picks with Pete Carroll because Pete Carroll had the chance to move back and get a Nick Eamon, which I would have been all for, but not the way Jeanty's playing now. Would love to sometime. Yeah, man, hit me up. Raiders Unleashed on X. All my links are in my bio. Hit me up so I can follow you and let me know what your IG or X is. And we'll start conversating, man. We can have some more talks on there. You can get the show on the road. What? Loyal to the soil. 100. All right. Did we though, Hawks? And John made some franchise altering decisions. Cost us a lot of years being good. The scheme weren't good enough anymore, and it's clearly shown up in Vegas. It's the cover three, bro. It's the cover three. You can't run cover three 49% of the time in the NFL. You just can't. It's washed up. People know how to beat it. You know, there's just so many ways you could beat it with speed, with a good running back, good receivers. You just pick it apart. You pick it apart on them slant routes, right? It's I don't know. I don't know. So yeah, his time is past him. There's nothing wrong with saying, Pete Carroll was one of the greatest coaches of all time, but the game has passed him up, right? The game has passed him up. The game evolves. He doesn't evolve. He's still stuck in the 1970 cover three. You know, not even most teams don't even run it. Like I think the next closest team is 30% of the time or 32 compared to Pete Carroll's 40% of the time. So there's a time and place for cover three, but man, there's also, a time and place for not blitzing. But when you have the least amount of blitzes in the NFL year after year, even when you had, the Legion of Boom, they didn't okay, they blitz more then, but now they don't blitz much. They just cover. They just drop seven guys into coverage and they can't even do that. So, yeah, screw Pete Carroll, bro. I'm tired of Pete Carroll. The Raiders should bring back Jamarcus Russell. He'd be better than Geno Smith. He'd be better than Geno Smith. They haven't played in the Super Bowl against each other. Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. Your dad is a Raiders fan. Shout out to your dad. Smart, smart man. Um, if he started liking them when they were good. Which football team do you support? I support the Raiders. The Raiders. Seahawks fan played the Broncos with Manning, not the Rams. Yeah, that's what it was. I don't know, bro. I'm old. My brain is old. Lots of trees. Forget shit. Who is the best elder? What? Oh, come on. I'm not getting into that. All right, I'm gonna skip through. Holy shit! How many comments are in here? God, y'all making me feel bad for leaving. All right. Well, if your comment didn't get read, Tedero McMillan deserves Rookie of the Year. That'll be a conversation for tomorrow. Like, subscribe, double tap the screen, tickle the notification button to turn it on. Tickle my noti. So you'll be notified when we drop content. I will be live tomorrow. We will talk about all this. Tedero McMillan deserves Rookie of the Year. I have to remember that. Somebody write that down for me. Can I get a mod? Read through these real fast. Geno recycled jet. Raiders should trade for Derek Carr. I would love that. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Shout out for the 199 Raiders. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. All right, man. I can't get to all these, but I appreciate you. McMillan is the best rookie. I will stay and talk about this. I'm a man. I'll admit my mistakes. And I didn't have Tedero McMillan in my top 5 receivers in the NFL coming in this draft. There's a lot of Raider content creators that wanted us, the Raiders, to take him at 6 or move back and take him, a couple spots and take him. I was not on that train. So I will say, Tedero McMillan has proved me wrong. The dude is a dog, but he still has a long way to go because, I've watched a lot of the film and there's some good, there's some okay, there's some really good, and there's some not good at all. But write what down? I don't know. I forgot already. See? Did you hear Tampa Bay versus Carolina Panther game? No, I did not. Shout out Mandy Parker. Shout out everybody. Protect your family. Protect your loved ones. Appreciate everybody rocking with me in the chat. Always go Raiders. Much love, man. I appreciate y'all. Y'all are the greatest fan base on the planet. Raider Nation.